kudos to the grounds crew, by the way, for getting the field ready, JP Morosi. You were in your element last night on the inside corner. You're not scared of a little rain. Holding the umbrella for Manny Machado. Excuse me. Good morning to you. Love to have you in studio. What enamors me about Manny is when I go to his baseball reference page, I go to the way he posts, right? The games played. If clutch were a category, I'd go to that. What was your conversation like last night? Good morning.
Well, good morning, Lauren. First of all, what am I doing here? I'm here and you're not here.
Taking my job.
Right.
Take it.
Backwards. Okay, so here we go. Manny Machado, yesterday, first of all, I had to apologize to him for a post-game interview while I was holding the umbrella. I said, Manny, I'm very sorry that I'm short. I'm going to stretch as best I can here to hold the umbrella for you. But Manny Machado in a clutch moment, Lauren, he's so much fun to watch. And we talked about that batting average, better than 350 with the bases loaded. He does this time and time again. And I spoke with Manny after the game, and I said, what's so key about the ability to come through in the clutch? And he said, I keep the approach simple to get to that inside fastball. And Lauren, we talk about how the great players of this generation, the numbers start adding up. And Eric Nays talked about this with me earlier today about where he is tracking. He is now on pace to have the most hits by any third baseman ever through his age 32 season. He's going to pass George Brett. He'll pass Mike Schmidt. He'll pass Adrian Beltre. He'll pass all of the third basemen ever by that age. And Lauren, the power numbers, he's tracking very well, too. He's about to pass, again, Mike Schmidt, the man that many of us consider the best pure power-hitting third baseman ever. He's about to pass him with 4 more and 5 more home runs. So, Lauren, we're talking about, quite simply, one of the best third basemen ever. And I made the point to Manny in that interview yesterday that when we honor him in Cooperstown, which is going to happen, he will be a Hall of Famer, that base hit that doubled down the line is what I'm going to have in my mind, that Bill Ripken certainly has seen many times in Baltimore, too. The ability to pull the hands in and rope that double down the line with the bases loaded in a huge spot. That's the memory I've got in my mind's eye about Manny Machado, and that's why he's going to be in Cooperstown.
It's a great memory. I didn't realize where he was on all those lists, putting the greatness into perspective. I feel like, JP, that's the great thing about being at the ballpark, right? It's all the conversations with the players and the managers, and you, my friend, got a little, you're laughing because you know it's true, a little news before it happened yesterday in Bronx?
Yeah, so how about this, Lauren? So I'm departing from the meeting with Aaron Boone, our pregame production meeting, and as I'm walking out of Boone's office, he says, hey, what do you got on the Rangers hitting coach search? And I said, maybe a few different names. I mentioned a few at the top of my head, and he said, hey, whenever you hear who it actually is, send me a text. Of course, Lauren, he knew it was going to be his brother, Brett. So he knew right away it was going to be Brett Boone. And so as I'm leaving the office, I said, okay, I'll let you know when I'll do some homework on this, see what it might be. And then, like, within 30 minutes, Lauren, the press release hits my inbox. Brett Boone, the 14-year major leaguer, the two-time Silver Slugger, the multiple-time All-Star, is going to be the new hitting coach of the San Diego Padres, working for his former manager in San Diego, or the Texas Rangers working for his former manager in San Diego, Bruce Bochy. So the Rangers' new hitting coach is Brett Boone, and I had to send that message to Aaron Boone. I said, Booney, quote-unquote, text me when you get the official release, and he just responds, Lauren, with the laughing emoji. So Aaron Boone had the scoop. Aaron Boone scooped me. But at least I was in the right ballpark to hear the information, a little bit of a heads up that Brett Boone would be the new hitting coach of the Texas Rangers.
You should hang out in Aaron Boone's office more often.
That's where all the scoop is. That's where all the scoop is.
What other news can we break? In all your free time, JP, when you're not working showcase games, you are learning about the journeys of Hall of Famers on your Road to Cooperstown podcast. A new season. Tell me, who's the first guy?
Mike Schmidt, batting leadoff. And again, Lauren, it's a perfect segment here in a segue. We've talked a lot about third baseman during the course of this broadcast already, and now we're talking about Mike Schmidt being the first guest on the Road to Cooperstown this year. Now, a couple notes about Mike Schmidt. He talked about how during the course of this conversation, he considers himself to be a perfectionist. It's a hard thing, Lauren, to be a perfectionist in a game of failure. And Mike Schmidt spoke with me about how, in some ways, he wishes he could have enjoyed the experience more of playing in Philadelphia, but also how the pressure and the cauldron of playing at Veterans Stadium made him a better player. Take a listen.
But I listened to talk radio all the time when I played there. I didn't want anything to go, to get by me that I didn't know about. And I just kept me miserable all the time, In fact, funny story. In fact, my mother-in-law lived with us at that time, and I had her call WIP one time.
Oh, really? But what did she say?
Call in, and I want you to say, that's not true. We used to have to walk by the fans to get to our car. It was just one night. I don't know whether I was in a hurry or whether I was in a bad mood or whatever. And so I just give it one. Hey, I'll be glad to sign for you tomorrow, but I have to run tonight. I'm sorry, that kind of a thing. It only takes one person out of that crowd of 30 people to call WIP and tell them what a whole Schmidt is. You know what I'm saying? It only takes one person to call radio and rip the heck out of you. athletes today, when being interviewed, have trained themselves to give as little as they can. You know what I mean? To give short, nothing answers to questions.
Well, I always say, Mike, it's our job to ask better questions that hopefully will elicit responses that are not bland. It can be a challenge, but I look at it as it's part of our job to be creative and come up with questions that are not expected. Well, I suppose we'll leave that to the podcast listeners to decide how we're doing today, but that's always my goal. Our thanks to Mike Schmidt, Lauren, for joining us there. And one thing that he shared with me that I actually didn't know before we did the podcast, he wanted to play basketball at Ohio University. He grew up in Dayton, Ohio, and he tried out for the college basketball team at Ohio. And he actually made the freshman team, but then the coaches and the medical staff there said, listen, Mike, we actually can't have you play basketball because we're not able to ensure your knees. He had a number of knee injuries in high school. So he thought that was the end of his dream, Lauren, when they said you cannot play basketball here. But then he tried out for baseball. In baseball, Lauren, turned out just okay. So I think that's our honor on the road to Cooperstown is to hear some of those stories about adversity faced. He went through a lot of adversity. And finally, Lauren, one of his great mentors in Philadelphia, Dick Allen, a new Hall of Famer this year. So certainly it's going to mean a lot to Mike and Dick Allen's family to see Dick honored in Cooperstown this summer.
We need to ask better questions. That's going to stay with me. I love it. It's an art form that everyone's trying to get better at in this profession. Really cool. What does JP Morosi do on an off day in New York City? Tell me.
I'm going to go to Don Bosco Prep, Peter Petrosino's alma mater, to see new draft prospect Nick Becker. That's the goal today.
JP, go to a rooftop bar.
I probably should.
One time. Enjoy your life, JP Morosi.
Oh, says the girl who's in bed by 8 o'clock every night.
Welcome back. At 2 o'clock Eastern today, right here on MLB Network. Stick around for the East-West Classic Roster Reveal Show. Baseball is back at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama this summer. Team captains Chris Young and CC Sabathia will unveil their rosters for the game, rosters that is made up of former players, the game that is paying tribute to the Negro League All-Star games of the past. They'll be joined by several guests, including Ryan Howard, Dusty Baker, and Willie Mays' son, Michael. Here's a sneak peek.
What's up, everybody? Chris Young here in Studio K, just getting ready for the East-West Classic Roster Reveal Show with CC Sabathia. CC, man, so excited for this event. What does this event mean to you? Why did you feel the need to put this together?
This event means everything to me. You know, to have a chance to bring the East-West Classic down to Rickwood Field. We did it last year in Cooperstown, and it was just such an amazing event. Having so many players from our generation before us get together, Ferguson Jenkins, Ozzie Smith, we had Ken Griffey Jr., so many different people come to participate in Cooperstown. I felt like we had to redo it, and bring it down to Rickwood after such a great event last year down there last summer celebrating Willie and having the Giants and the Cardinals play down there. I just felt like it would be a lost opportunity to not go back. That community loves baseball so much, and I just felt like it'd be for us to go back and put on, this East-West Classic, and excited that MLB got behind it, and excited to really be throwing this on Juneteenth. I think we have a great opportunity to really own that holiday. We're really the only major sport that's playing, and for us to be celebrating that holiday, I'm super excited about.
Yeah, it falls on such a special day and a special time with celebrating Willie Mays, who would have been 94 years old today. We were there at Rickwood Field last year. He ended up passing away last year, right around Juneteenth as well. So to be able to pay homage to Willie Mays, we're going to talk to Michael Mays during the show today. We're going to talk to a lot of the players that are joining us at the event. And this was an event, that years ago, if you wanted to see Josh Gibson play, or Willie Mays, or Hank Aaron, no matter who it was, you had to go through Rickwood Field. Over 100 players in the Hall of Fame have stepped their cleats right there in Rickwood Field. We're going to bring it back one more time with some stars of the game.
Yeah, and when I felt like the point of doing these even back then, it's like a family reunion. So us to get together and get our families together and put this on for the fans, and so many different players had kids after they played and get a chance to see them lace them up. So I feel like we can continue to keep doing this. I don't know how many more years we can play a baseball game. Softball game, but I think we can continue to keep this legacy going.
Hey, it's going to be a star-studded event. We got great participation from so many stars of the game, which we cannot wait to show you everybody who's going to be joining us today. There's going to be the East team, which is my squad, and the West team, that is C squad. We know how this is going to finish up the same way as it did last year with the East squad coming out on top. So it's going to be a lot of trash talk, a lot of storytelling, and we look forward to showing you every bit of piece of it along the way.
Just make sure you watch the whole show so you can see why I called game, how he won the game last.
Let's do it.